Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video, and this one is again me playing with my new release from Funky Fossil, which has absolutely blown me away with how much you guys have loved it. I think at the moment of recording this, it's out of stock pretty much everywhere, and Sarah is desperately trying to restock. So if you haven't managed to get hold of it, just sit tight, it should be all right, I hope. So I'm playing in the small craft journal, which of course will be absolutely no surprise. I'm going to split this page into thirds by eye, not measuring because it's me and I don't. So I do apologise if you are the sort of person that measures things like this. It doesn't bother me at all if one is slightly bigger or smaller than the other. I'm not bothered really. So I'm starting off with magenta, popped a bit of that into each of the three squares. Then I'm using some turquoise. I'm just mixing some of the residue of the magenta in with the turquoise and just adding some of that into the three squares as well. So I haven't added any gesso on the page because I knew I was going to kind of go in with the paint, these were going to be little boxes of collage. So I wasn't too worried about how the paint would take on the craft paper. So this is my new stencil called Floating, and I'm just using some, I think that's carnation, I'm pretty sure it is, through the stencil. So whatever I do in one box, I'm doing in all three. I'm just altering the direction of the stencils really, so it brings a bit of difference and interest to each of those boxes. This is my new stencil called Bead Curtain. Sarah's given that such a groovy name. I do love it. And I do remember those bead curtains in the 70s and early 80s where you would pop a curtain in your doorway made of beads. Yeah, it looked a bit like that stencil really. So then I've gently removed my washi tape. A little tip, before I put the washi tape in place, I did kind of stick it to my trousers just to get rid of some of the excess stickiness. And then if you just lightly heat it before you lift it off your page, you will find that it comes off nice and easy without lifting the top layer of your page off. So then just to give each box a bit more definition, I'm going around with a Stabilo all pencil and then water activating. And initially I'm just keeping the pencil marks where the paint is, but then with the paint that's left over on my brush, I just extend the edges of those squares and join them up. This is one of the little shapes off my alphabet stamp set called Claire's Alphabet. So excited about that, I can't believe it. And then this stamp that I'm using here is the Paper Butterflies stamp, which comes as one whole stamp. And on the Thankful set there are little individual butterflies as well. I think there's one of each size. So this works quite nicely as a whole stamp. I'm stamping that onto some white cardstock using black archival ink. Then this is my new collage paper pack called Thankful. It's got such a mixture of different pages in there. I think probably it's the most versatile one that we've released yet, with the different variety of things in there. And I've just lifted a bit of purple out of there. So initially you're going to think, why on earth are you using colours that are so similar? I kind of wanted this to be quite gentle. I wanted the collage elements to play really nicely with what was already in the boxes with the paint. So initially didn't start off with going for contrast, but then decided as I was playing, I was being very indecisive this day, that I thought I would add in some little pops of colour. So I've grabbed a different sheet out of the book, and that Hole Punch by EK, I think that's all it says on it. It's got this like different sizes of circles on it, and then I decided I would have 3 circles in each box and stuck those in place using a bit of clear glue. Then I've cut out a butterfly which is going to go in each box as well. So I did faff for quite a long time with this, and I think really I kind of overthought it a lot. And sometimes it's best just to stick some stuff down and not overthink it, and that's when you can create those really amazing collage pieces. But I just kept thinking, like, you know, something's not quite right, something's missing. And as you will see in the end, I think it was just bringing a little bit more pops of colour, and adding in a little bit of stamping and some splatters, and those are the little elements at the end that just helped pull it all together. So yeah, there, I've cut those butterflies out. They end up getting coloured in as well, because I decided that it didn't work particularly well as white. I'm just outlining these circles using a black gel pen. This is not a waterproof pen, but I kind of knew that I wasn't going to be using any more wet media. I wasn't going to be pulling any wet media across the page, so it didn't really matter that that wasn't a waterproof pen. Then of course out comes the dot stamp. I have been assured by Sarah that this will be released. She just didn't have enough space for it on the order that's just gone in, so sit tight and that will be coming. And then I'm sticking my butterflies in place. I'm just trying to work out where to pop those for most impact. So at the minute you can see that although these look really nice, they're a bit disjointed, and yeah, the collage elements are kind of not working. So this is where I started faffing about with different colours and pieces of paper. So not only did I use pieces from the collage pack, but I also grabbed some scraps from my collage fodder bits and bobs box and started pulling colours from there, and did still kind of stick with those colours that were going to play nicely with what was already on the page. And I didn't use scissors to cut these up. I'm tearing them using a ruler. I like that kind of softer edge that the tearing gives on a project like this. I think, yeah, I just like the way it looks. It's such a different texture that you get to when you use scissors. You get that really sharp edge. So here comes a little bit of contrast with the black and white paper. So this is another piece from the collage pack, and it's starting to work a little bit better. So then I was thinking, okay, I'm going to get these bits stuck together. So I decided, just for being quick, I would staple them together. So I'm just popping a staple through. And of course I ran out of staples. Oh, it's just, that is so typical. I'm just popping one staple through the little collection of papers just to fasten those together while I continue to kind of play with the composition of these little collage boxes in my journal. And also having those little elements just popping out of the boxes as well just kind of softens those areas. So this is the fluorescent orange from Dina Wakley called Radical. Just adding some splatters of that because I felt that would work quite nice as a bit of a contrast. And then that led me to thinking, okay, I'm going to paint the butterflies and give them a nice warm colour as well. So I went in with lemon and then tangerine as well from Dina Wakley. And I quite liked how that worked because that played quite nicely with the little yellowy circles that I'd added onto the page too. But then the problem that I felt was that having painted them, it looked nice and I liked it, but they disappeared into the background. So I'm using the Stabilo all pencil and just outlining those butterflies. And you can see immediately that pops them back out of the background. So if that happens and when you've added colour or detail onto some element on your page, it disappears, don't be afraid to go in and outline it, because that's a good way that you can pull it forwards again. So these are some quotes that are in the collage pack as well, and I thought a quote would work quite well on each page. So I'm just going in and adding a quote, and they get stuck in place as well. That was my chair creaking, absolutely promise. And then I'm using one of my cardboard tubes and just adding some stamping, and you can see how well that works on these little compositions. Just adding another level of interest. And then the paint that's left over, I water down a bit more and add some splatters. And I wasn't particularly worried about keeping the splatters in the boxes. I wanted to kind of soften those areas and pull the composition out. And splatters are one of my favourite ways to finish off a journal page. I think dots and splatters kind of come in the same category, really. They're such a nice way to finish off. So here we go. This is the last page that I've created using my new collection from Funky Fossil. I hope you've enjoyed the video, all the videos that I've released over the last few days. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.